Cleopatra VII Philopator, born around 69 BCE, was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. Her reign and life have captivated historians and the public alike, blending historical fact with enduring legend. Early life and ascension to power. Cleopatra was born into the Macedonian Greek dynasty established by Ptolemy I Soter, a general under Alexander the Great. Unlike her predecessors, she embraced Egyptian culture and was the first in her line to learn the Egyptian language, in addition to several others, including Greek and Latin. This linguistic prowess and cultural assimilation endeared her to the Egyptian people. Following the death of her father, Ptolemy XII, in 51 BCE, Ptolemy XIII, whom she later married, as was customary in royal Egyptian tradition. However, their joint rule was fraught with tension, leading to Cleopatra's temporary exile. Alliances with Rome. Cleopatra's political acumen shone through her alliances with powerful Roman figures. Cleopatra co-ruled with her younger brother. She famously formed a liaison with Julius Caesar, which helped her regain the throne after her exile. Their union produced a son, Ptolemy XV Philopator Philopator Caesar, popularly known as Caesarion. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra aligned with Mark Antony, one of Rome's leading generals. Their partnership was both romantic and political, culminating in the birth of 3 children and a shared vision of a vast Eastern Empire. However, their alliance and Antony's perceived betrayal of Rome led to a confrontation with Octavian, later Augustus Caesar. Downfall and death. The conflict between Antony and Octavian culminated in the naval Battle of Actium in 31 BCE, where Antony and Cleopatra's forces suffered a decisive defeat. As Octavian's forces advanced into Egypt, both Antony and Cleopatra chose to end their lives. Antony by falling on his sword and Cleopatra, according to tradition, by inducing an asp Egyptian cobra to bite her. Her death in 30 BCE marked the end of both the Ptolemaic rule and the Hellenistic age, leading to Egypt's annexation as a Roman province. Legacy and cultural impact. Literature and film. Cleopatra's life has been immortalized in countless works of art. She has been portrayed as a seductress, a shrewd politician, and a tragic heroine. While ancient Roman propaganda often painted her in a negative light, modern scholarship recognizes her intelligence, political savvy, and efforts to protect Egypt's sovereignty in a male-dominated world. Her legacy continues to inspire debates and discussions, reflecting the complexities of her character and the era she lived in. Visual representation. While no contemporary portraits of Cleopatra survive, various artistic interpretations have attempted to capture her likeness. One such representation is a wax figure display at Potter's Wax Museum, aiming to depict her regal appearance based on historical descriptions. Cleopatra, power struggle. After Fulvia took ill and died, Antony was forced to prove his loyalty to Octavian by making a diplomatic marriage with Octavian's half-sister Octavia. Egypt grew more prosperous under Cleopatra's rule, and in 37 BC Antony again met with Cleopatra to obtain funds for his long-delayed military campaign against the kingdom of Parthia. In exchange, he agreed to return much of Egypt's eastern empire, including Cyprus, Crete, Cyrenaica, Libya, Jericho, and large portions of Syria and Lebanon. They again became lovers, and Cleopatra gave birth to another son, Ptolemy Philadelphos, in 36 BC. After a humiliating defeat in Parthia, Antony publicly rejected his wife, Octavia's efforts to rejoin him and instead returned to Egypt and Cleopatra. In a public celebration in 34 BC known as the Donations of Alexandria, Antony declared Caesarion as Caesar's son and rightful heir as opposed to his adopted son, Octavian, and awarded land to each of his children with Cleopatra. This began a war of propaganda between him and the furious Octavian, who claimed that Antony was entirely under Cleopatra's control and would abandon Rome and found a new capital in Egypt. In late 30 BC, the Roman Senate stripped Antony of all his titles, and Octavian declared war on Cleopatra. Cleopatra, defeat and death. What killed Cleopatra? Learn the reason for the death of Cleopatra. On September 2, 31 BC, Octavian's forces soundly defeated those of Antony and Cleopatra in the Battle of Actium. Cleopatra's ships deserted the battle and fled to Egypt, and Antony soon managed to break away and follow her with a few ships. With Alexandria under attack from Octavian's forces, Antony heard a rumor that Cleopatra had committed suicide. He fell on his sword and died just as news arrived that the rumor had been false. On August 12, 30 BC, after burying Antony and meeting with the victorious Octavian, Cleopatra closed herself in her chamber with 2 of her female servants. The means of her death is uncertain, but Plutarch and other writers advance the theory that she used a poisonous, a symbol of divine royalty, to commit suicide at age 39, according to her wishes. Cleopatra's body was buried with Antony's, leaving Octavian later Emperor Augustus I to celebrate his conquest of Egypt and his consolidation of power in Rome. Snake known as the asp.